up, everyone? It is your girl Beauty 87 here, aka Grace, and today we're gonna get into another underrated versus overrated. So in today's underrated versus overrated, I actually have some other stuff besides just eyeshadow palettes. I know, right? Who am I? But I have a couple of lipstick formulas, I have a highlighter, and I have a foundation. So I'm gonna get into those things first, since y'all used to seeing nothing but eyeshadow palettes, to be like, wait, what? Whoa. And then we'll do the eyeshadow palettes last, because of course we know me, eyeshadows are a thing I love, or as my girl Dr. Adriangameover would say, eyeshadow is my jam. So I have a lot of eyeshadows, which is why you get a lot of eyeshadows in these videos. Without further ado, girl, let me get into it. So the first overrated versus underrated is this foundation. So I saw somebody else comparing this foundation to a different foundation, but in my personal opinion, I feel like it's really, the Juvia's Place foundation is really similar to the Charlotte Tilbury's Beautiful Skin foundation. I wear the shade Burkina in the Juvia's Place I Am Magic Natural Radiant Foundation. And I wear 14 neutral in this one. Now, I always get neutrals in Charlotte Tilbury foundations just because I feel like the warm ones look really orange and crazy, and then obviously I don't have a cool undertone, so I just pick the neutral ones just to be safe, and then that way I can make it work. So what I like about the Juvia's Place over this one is to me, this one gives more coverage. Now, the thing is, you have to put a mattifying powder with this if you have oily combination skin like myself. You can't use the Juvia's Place foundation powder to go with it, or else, you know, you'll just look oily and crazy all day. It's not super bad. It just looks like you like glowing from within somewhat, but over the day, you got to think about if you wear this for 8 hours on a work day like you normally would, it's going to make you look greasy. So I would say put a mattifying powder with this. Same thing with this one. But the thing is, I feel like this one doesn't give enough coverage, and I feel like it was just really hyped up and excited because it's Charlotte Tilbury. But the Juvia's Place one to me is just as nice, if not better. I love how in the drugstore dupes, these high-end products, they always give you more coverage, because it's like, that's my whole thing. I'm always shouting more coverage, because it's like, I don't care about it being your skin but better, but it's like, I don't have your skin but better. You need to pump up the coverage so I can fake what the other girl is on the your skin but better. So, you know, Juvia's Place, when they did their dupe, of course, it gave more coverage than Charlotte Tilbury. And plus, I feel like this is just overrated just because it's Charlotte Tilbury. Because I feel like this is just as nice as Charlotte Tilbury, and it's only $24. It's $23 or $24, whereas I feel like this one is grossly overpriced considering what it does. Because to me, this doesn't give enough coverage. I mix in her original foundation with the Flawless Filter with this in order to get the type of coverage that I want. I just happen to have some samples I have from Sephora that I mix in with it, but it's like, if I can get a dupe for $24, I'm not gonna pay her $48, because it's like, I can get 2 of these, so I can get 2 ounces of the same product with more coverage just for the price of her one foundation. So nah, I'm not with it. Girl, put the coins away. Save the coins, girl. Save them. Save them. If you can save them, girl. So next, I have another Charlotte Tilbury dupe over another Juvia's Place. So another underrated versus overrated. So these are those new highlighters she came out with, the Hollywood Glow Guy Face Architect Highlighter. I have the shade Bronze Gold, and this is the Juvia's Place highlighter in number 1. I feel like the colors are actually quite similar, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Now, the pigmentation on the Juvia's Place is much better than the pigmentation on the Charlotte Tilbury, but we know Charlotte Tilbury is supposed to be known for that your skin but better vibe. So just bear that in mind when I'm showing you these, but I feel like it's close enough. The Charlotte Tilbury one is a little bit deeper, but I feel like they give the overall same look. I feel like this might be closer to that gold highlighter she has, because this is the Charlotte Tilbury and this is the Juvia's Place, and this is on sale for $7.50 last time I checked on Ulta. When I was on there a little while ago, I don't know if it's still on sale, but I feel like it gives that same creamy, smooth formula. And if you like a little bit more pigmentation to your highlighter and a little more brightness, I feel like this will definitely do the trick. Because I feel like the Charlotte Tilbury doesn't build up as well as the Tribe one from Juvia's Place does. So I definitely wanted to show both of those. So we got 2 Juvia's Place dupes, 2 Charlotte Tilbury products. So if you're more into a more pigmented, highlighted, then you would definitely like Juvia's Place over Charlotte. But if you like a more subdued highlighter that just looks like you're glowing from within, then you might want to go with Charlotte, or just find another brand that doesn't cost much, because again, I feel like it's not that great for what it is. Okay, now let's get into these lip products. There's only a couple of them, and I'm trying to get this done before the sun starts coming in at that weird angle it likes to do, because I still have 2 more eye looks to do with the palette I have on now, which is actually going to be in this video, so you're going to have to wait till the end for that. Anyway, next underrated versus overrated I have is underrated versus overrated. The Huda Beauty. What are these? The liquid matte lipsticks versus the Blend Bunny matte lip creams. So I feel like the formula on these is actually pretty similar. They have like that liquidy, feels like water formula when you put it on the lips and give you a nice pigmentation and color to it. So I have the shade with the T's in Blend Bunny, and I have the shade Trendsetter in Huda. I don't have exact shades for both of these, but I feel like the formulas on these is both the same. Of course, I feel like Maggie's are more affordable. I think hers and the lip liner come together for I think like 20 bucks, and I think Huda's are just 25 on their own. Don't quote me about these prices because I don't 100% remember, but I like the fact that she came with lip liners, and the lip liners are deeper than the lip color. She didn't do the matchy like what is it, Kylie Cosmetics does, because I mean, like, I like this lip color and it looks great on me, but it's like the matching lip liner wouldn't look good on me. So I'm glad she realized that people want a deeper lip liner and gave deeper lip liners accordingly. Plus the fact that this one comes with a lip liner over this one, I feel like makes it a better price point. That's just my personal opinion, but to each his own. Anyway, those are the underrated versus overrated first lip product. I got one more lip product. So the next underrated versus overrated, I have the Makeup by Mario Ultra Suede Cozy Lip Creams up against the Ultra Satin Lipsticks from Unearthly Cosmetics. This is the shade Delight. I got these in my mystery box. You all saw the video for it a while ago, the Valentine's Day mystery box. So I feel like both these colors are similar, and I feel like both these formulas feel similar. This one feels kind of moussey, just like the Lethal Cosmetics one, and then this one has that kind of like moussey feel to it too. To me, this feels more like a moussey dessert on the lips, whereas this feels like a little less moussey and a little bit more liquidy, if that made any sense. But I feel like both of them do a great job, and I know you can use a code to get these. I think these are like 20 or 25, and I feel like this is going to be a little bit more affordable for you. Plus you can use one's coupon code and throw it in along with a gorgeous eyeshadow palette from the brand Unearthly. You can use code FrizzFace, or my girl Karen Harris's code Cage Makeup, and you can go ahead and get a discount on these. So if you want to wait till the Sephora sale and get the Makeup by Mario one too, that's fine. But I just wanted to give you an alternative just in case you don't want to spend the high price point on this, because Unearthly does have really good sales pretty often. So, you know, you can get a great deal on those. So, okay, now let's get into the eyeshadow palettes, girl. But first, let me go get a battery because it's been flashing the entire time I've been talking for the last 2-3 minutes, and I don't want it to die. Be right back, girl. Okay, y'all. So, on to the eyeshadow palettes, because y'all know there's a lot. Well, it's only actually like I think 5 or 6, and usually these whole videos consist of eyeshadow palettes, so I think I'm doing good to only have 5 or 6. Anyway, underrated versus overrated. So I have the Dior Backstage Eye Palette in the shade 9 Burgundy Neutral up against the Pat McGrath, the Golden One palette. So I feel like the Dior one is a little bit overrated because it's like it's a whole bunch of satin shades in here for the most part, and then this weird concealer thing like what do you call it has. But I don't know how y'all gonna feel about this one, since they both, you know, luxury things at the end of the day. But I just feel like I would rather have the Pat McGrath one than the Dior one, having to choose. I know you probably think I'd rather have the Dior one because I get more mattes in here and they're more red tone mattes, but y'all know I'm not really that big on reds, and I like the shimmer formulation in here a lot more than I like the shimmer formulation here. I feel like the shimmers give more impact and volume in here. Plus I feel like out of the two expensive things, you get more for your money with this one when you think about it, because a lot of people don't wear reds or like a lot of these tones. I feel like personally every day, I feel like this is a more everyday palette for you, so that's why I put this in the overrated versus underrated category, because at the end of the day, you want to pick up something from the Star Wars collection. It's something you can use every day. I feel like this would just be the better pick than this one, and this one obviously is cheaper than this one. Plus Mother always gives 10% off when you first buy, so I feel like since this was only a $32 palette, you could easily get a little bit of a discount. She always has free shipping whenever you buy anything from Pat McGrath, from what I remember, and then this one is like 50 bucks and you have to pay a whole lot more. So I think this is underrated just because people were mad about the stickers on the what is it, the Midnight Sun, and that's why I didn't necessarily get that good of a rep, the collection as a whole. I personally liked the majority of the things that I tried, but I was never a fan of Midnight Sun, so that's why I didn't care that it had a Star Wars sticker on it, because I just don't like the Midnight Sun. I don't know what it is about that palette, I do not like it. But this to me is a better deal than the Dior, so that's why I made this the underrated and made Dior the overrated. Okay, the next one, I have another Star Wars one. So this time the Star Wars is the overrated and this is the underrated. So I feel like if you already have the quad, what is Nocturnal Nirvana, y'all know it's my favorite quad from Pat McGrath, and I feel like you don't necessarily need this, because I feel like this gives Nocturnal Nirvana vibes, if you will, because it has 3, I think, out of the 4 shades that's in there, because you got the purple, you got the blue, you got the green. The only 2 things that aren't in there is this shade and this shade, and like we all know Mother has done this shade a million times, and you probably can find this shade in your collection already from Mother too, because it might be in Divine Rose or Divine Rose too. But I feel like the skewed palette from the I think this was from the Nars collection, didn't get that much hype as it should have. I mean, I feel like these are gorgeous, nice shimmers to add on, and the price point of this is pretty reasonable, and plus when they have sales, they have a really good deal on it too. So I personally like this. Let me turn these lights up, girl, because I feel like I look crazy. I don't think they made it any better. Anyway, but yeah, so I think this one just didn't get enough love as it should. I think it's a gorgeous all shimmer palette. I love this periwinkle that has the shift of like bright gold in it. I think it's just so cool. I'm not that crazy about the orange, but y'all know I don't love orange, and the fact that there's 2 oranges in here to me was weird. It's like I was more concerned about the neutral colors and the pink, and I felt like this kind of had a similar color story too, because you got the green, you got the blue, then you got the pink. The only difference is it has like more blues and a neutral orange, and it doesn't have like the pink and the bronzy. I mean, it doesn't have the bronzy shade in it, but otherwise I feel like it has a good majority of the same shades in it too. And I feel like the price point on this is going to be more affordable. Plus, I just like this one a little bit better than this one, because I already have Nocturnal Nirvana, and I like Nocturnal Nirvana better. So that's why I chose these 2 for this round of underrated versus overrated. Okay, now let's get into these 2. So the underrated versus overrated, I have the Weirdos palette. I feel like y'all know why this is the overrated one and why the Aura is underrated, because of the shade that was in here. Plus, I just like the color story of this one a little bit better than I like the color story of this one. I like the fact that they put the berries and the pinks and then these weird greens in it together, and I feel like this could be a good old school versus new school if they both hadn't came out in the same year, because I definitely would pin this one up against this one and see how they work alongside each other. I know this has deeper greens, but it still has that same lighter green that this one has in it. So I feel like instead of playing Russian roulette to see if your shade is going to be okay by buying this palette, when it relaunches, you could just go ahead and get this one and know everything's going to be fine. Now you're not going to have that deep green or the black, but I feel like you have enough similar shades in this one to compare to this one, and you can use Code Cage Makeup to get either one of them depending on which one you want. But I would just say go ahead and get the Aura palette, because you might be able to get there's a bundle deal for Aura and Envy, and then you can use Karen's code on top of it, and then get a couple of really nice palettes to try out, because these 2 combined on their website was on sale for $65, whereas y'all know this one alone is $50. So for 15 more bucks you can get a whole nother palette, and then you can use a discount code, and that might knock off the 15 bucks. I forgot how much Karen's code knocks off, but I know I got these at a pretty good steal, and I got 2 palettes for the price of 1. So that's why I'm saying go ahead with the Aura instead of going ahead with this one. So that's why this is underrated and this is overrated. But I'm not saying on Nars Cosmetics is overrated as a whole, so that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying more when it came to that one, I was disappointed in it. So that's why I would just prefer you to get the Ace Beaute one instead. Plus, like I said, you can get 2 palettes for $15 more instead of just buying that one for 50 bucks. The next one I have in the underrated versus overrated, this is the Glam Light Barbie palette alongside the Candy Shop from Juvia's Place. I feel like these are actually somewhat similar, and I feel like obviously this one being $25 is going to be cheaper than that one, but you do get more shades in the Glam Light one, so I guess it just depends on which one you would prefer to have. So this is what both of them look like side by side. The funny thing is I feel like the Barbie one has deeper tones in it than the Candy Shop one. However, again, it just depends on what price point you're looking for. It has the cool marble shades in this one. I gave y'all a really nice look with this one. I gave y'all, I think, 2 or 3 really nice looks with this palette. So it just depends on which one you would prefer to have and prefer to buy from. But I know some people don't like really large palettes, which is why I wanted to give you an alternative to this palette. So I'm not saying necessarily this one is overrated. It's just more, if you want a more condensed version of the Barbie palette, I feel like this would be good for you. Just don't look to have those deep tones that the Barbie palette has in it, because as you can see, they wasn't giving the deep tones. They was trying to stay more on the light, bright, fun side of the Candy Shop or the colorful palette. So just keep that in mind when purchasing. But Juvia's Place always has amazing sales, and so does Glam Light. So whichever one you prefer to use would be fine. If you're going to buy from Glam Light, you can use the code Cage Makeup. Karen has a code with them as well. And there you go. So we only got 2 more palettes left. I'm saving the one that's on my eyes for last, of course. Next overrated versus underrated, I have the Natasha Denona Midi Love palette. Y'all know this is my favorite Natasha Denona Midi palette out of all the Midi palettes I have. And then we have the Surrender palette from Unearthly Cosmetics. You all saw my video on this yesterday. I don't know when you're gonna see this video now, but you saw this yesterday on the, I want to say it was the 13th of January. But I feel like both these palettes look pretty similar, which is why I want to show this, because they don't make this palette anymore. If I remember correctly, they don't make the Midi Love palette anymore. So I want to give you a nice alternative to that palette just in case. And they gave you 3 liquid lipsticks in there as well, alongside of a glowy blush palette. And that's what the box consists of. And I think the box was only like 90 bucks when you use code Cage Makeup or code FrizzFace to get your discount on. So I really like the palette. I like the whole collection. I thought it looked stunning and really nice. And I feel like if you want to try this palette for like, you can get 3 lipsticks and a blush palette for like 30 bucks more, because if you all remember, this palette was 65 bucks. So I just figured it might be a good alternative, and that's what I had to show it to you. I didn't think this palette was going to be the colors that it is, so I was kind of shocked by it. But as soon as I saw it, I was like, that's my Midi Love palette. And it's perfect because it's discontinued now, so now I have a backup or something to change it to, because they don't, you know, make it anymore. Okay, last but certainly not least is the palette that's on my eye. So girl, let's get to it. Underrated versus overrated. So the underrated versus overrated, this is the Juvia's Place, the Warriors palette. Sorry, the Warrior 3 palette. I feel like it's kind of overrated compared to my It's Belle Cosmetics Fruity Realm palette. So this is what they look like side by side. Now please keep in mind, the Juvia's Place one does have shimmers in it. I know it only has 2 shimmers in it, but it has shimmers in it, whereas the It's Belle Cosmetic palette is all mattes. But I feel like if I didn't have the pink background on, you'd see how similar the colors are, because see, they got a purple. This purple isn't deep as that purple, but it has the green, it has the orange, it has the yellow, it has the pink, it has the red. So it has pretty much all the colors they have. And for those 2 shimmery blues they have, they just have like 2 mattes to replace it. So I feel like it's a good alternative. And if you wanted an all matte palette to go with your all shimmer palettes from It's Belle, I feel like this is definitely a great pickup. This palette is only $18, and you can use code what? Dr. Ash, because Dr. Ash has a code with It's Belle Cosmetics. So make sure you use code Dr. Ash when you look at to get this palette, if you get it. Or if you want to get the Juvia's Place one, that's fine as well. I know they have really good sales as well. So I personally just think that this palette is so underrated. I know people say that they think the mattes are kind of thin in here, but I mean, like, it's fine for building up, and for the price point, I definitely think it's worth you looking at and checking out. Like I said, that's what's on my eyes right now. So get a close-up look of what it looks like. I just used all of the warm colors in here to make a nice little sunset moment. So I have this in my crease. I dusted this over the top. This is the outer V shade, and this is my lid shade. And I think this actually looks pretty nice. And y'all know I'm not really into warm tone looks, but I was like checking myself in the mirror like, okay, look at you, you think you're sexy. Okay, so I definitely think this is an underrated palette, just because people feel like the mattes are a little thin. But you know, I think it's great for its price point, and I was so happy to be able to try mattes from the brand, because I missed out on the cool summer palette. And by the time I got it, by the time I was going to get it, I figured like the time had passed for a review on it, so I didn't necessarily end up getting it. But now, having tried these mattes, I'm like, I'm gonna go ahead and get that one. And I want to get the Flare Remix palette as well, so I can have all the palettes from this brand, because I think they do a really good job and they're kind of underrated. So that's why I wanted to make sure I put this palette in the video. If y'all want me to do a battle of these 2 palettes, let me know down below, because I feel like it'd be interesting to see how it works out when it comes to the palette, because I know some people say they don't like Juvia's Place matte formula. So again, I tried to give you an alternative by showing this palette with this palette, so you can see the color stories were somewhat similar. And that's all I got for you today. So I hope you all enjoyed this video. Remember, you all are diamonds, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Be blessed, girl. Bye.